focus then to the electronic manufacturing ecosystem then, and the entire sector has been in focus for the last several trading sessions. And yesterday, government also approved 17 projects under the electronic component manufacturing scheme worth over 7,200 crores. So what does this mean for the entire ecosystem? To understand that, we are now joined by Mr. Pankaj Mohindroo, Chairperson at Indian Cellular and Electronics Association, now joining us. Thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here in ET Now this afternoon. First up, if you can tell us how big of a positive is this for the entire industry? I understand India has traditionally been considered as an assembly-led value creator. Now, are we looking at moving towards component manufacturing as well, and what kind of value addition will India be able to gradually shift towards over the next 5 years?
So thank you for having me on this show. A very important question. Uh, but you see, I would like to have a caveat here is that assembling is not, superfluous. India has an advantage in labor cost, and we should be assembling every product under the sun in India at a global scale and exporting that to the world, right? Now let's come to the next step. The next step is that the scale produces magic. We have now we have crossed 100 billions in electronic manufacturing. We are at 70 billions of smartphone manufacturing. That has given us scale. Now the supply chain, this is the right time for the supply chain to get built. And it is happening at the right time, at the appropriate time. And we will build these capabilities across the verticals, not only for smartphones. Uh, for example, the scale of smartphones has produced this magic. So, for example, PCB manufacturing, when a PCB plant is set up, PCBs can be produced across all verticals, including IT products, laptops, auto electronics, because PCB runs across horizontally. So this one big scale has given us the headroom to create sub-assemblies and components across the verticals. Uh, so that'll, you see, the other verticals which have now going to start kicking in, they will start with an advantage once this whole sub-assembly and component ecosystem is built. And at the same time, we are building the foundational industries like semiconductors, display, uh, cells, etc. So combining all this, uh, after say 4 to 5 years, we will be far more competitive than what we are today.
And
This beautiful number, which you all want to hear, that what will be the value addition, I think we will climb to approximately 35 to 40% in, across the board. And we will, in certain categories, we will cross it up to 50%. In certain categories, we will be between 25 and 30%. But this is not so important. Important is the net foreign exchange, how the industry is positioned. I think in about 4 to 5 years, with our exports going up, currently, last year we did 35 billion of exports. This year we'll touch about 45 to 50 billion dollars. When export touches about 150, 180 billion dollars, we will be net foreign exchange positive, which is the most important thing. And that will be the beginning of a new trajectory. So the plan is working out very well, and we are very pleased with the outcome of this. And we thank the entrepreneurs who have come forward. The magic of course has been created by the scale achieved so far.
So magic is created because of the scale, but since we are talking about exports and you did tell us that India continues to remain a competitive market, but does Indian quality meet global standards? And if you can take us through any bottlenecks that the industry is facing at this juncture?
Uh, No, you see, we have improved in competitiveness over the last few years by about 5 to 6%. But in on certain elements, we still have disabilities, like bill of material. We have 3 to 5% disability there because the ecosystem is not here. Ecosystem is in China and Vietnam, and so they have an advantage because we have to ship our products from there, and that is a disadvantage. The ECMS scheme is precisely for that we will be able to mitigate that largely over the next 5 years. Then we have the capital cost disadvantage because those countries already have infrastructure built, uh, and we have to make fresh investments, right? So that's another disability. The third disability is our interest cost because the interest cost there is much lower because they are surplus economies. They don't have a trade deficit. Their inflation is lower. Interest costs are much lower. So that is another disadvantage. The first two we will be able to sort out over the next 4 or 5 years. So that is why the government of India and the state governments are giving a stimulus. Like the central government is giving the PLI, and state governments are also pitching in with some benefits on capital cost, etc. ECMS also, the relevant state governments are giving a 1:1 benefit to the industry. So that will make the industry more competitive. So I think by 2030, 31, we would be shaving off the disabilities to a very large extent, except the interest cost, because the scale will grow, bill of material disadvantage will also come down and almost go to zero. Let me give you some good news also. Power cost, which was
Right.
India was famous for high power cost and there was a disability. We have mitigated that and we are on par with other
Correct.
manufacturing destinations. So that
Right.
is the good news.
Right.
And on labor, we have a big advantage
Hmm.
compared
Right.
to China and even compared to Vietnam.
Clearly,
We
so
have an
India is scaling up in the global market and trying to become much more competitive when it comes to electronic manufacturing. Mr. Mohindroo, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now today. But that's all the time we have on this edition of the show. Thanks so much for tuning in.